Ladies and gentlemen, let's stop calling emotional inconsistency a mystery worth solving. Why are we still telling women that if he loves you, he'll ignore you, that silence means depth, that absence means passion? No, that's not love, that's dysfunction wearing a poetic mask. Real love doesn't hide, it doesn't play games, it shows up consistently, bravely, completely. If someone is ignoring you and making you question your worth, that's not your cue to chase. That's your sign to pause and ask, is this what love should feel like? Love isn't meant to confuse you. Love doesn't make you wait, wonder, and doubt your own value every night. When someone truly loves you, they don't leave you staring at your phone, analyzing why they've disappeared for days. They reach for you, they want to hear your voice. They want to be a part of your life, not just when it's convenient, but when it's real. Too often, women are told to read into silence like it's some profound language of men who care deeply but express poorly. But emotional immaturity is not passion, ghosting isn't romantic, hot and cold isn't thrilling. Let's be honest, we've confused emotional unavailability for strength and inconsistency for intensity. But love, real love, is present. It communicates, it builds, it nurtures. Love doesn't punish you with distance, it welcomes you with warmth. You are not meant to beg for crumbs of affection from someone who claims to care. If he ignores you, let that be his story, not your self-worth. Because a woman who knows her value doesn't chase confusion, she attracts clarity. You're not here to prove you're lovable by tolerating absence. You're here to be met by someone who sees your light and says, I'm not letting that go. The more distant he becomes, the deeper he must feel. That his silence is a sign of mysterious passion, that his withdrawal somehow means he's overwhelmed by how much he cares. But let's get brutally honest for a moment. True love doesn't hide in shadows or speak in riddles, it shows up. Fully, fearlessly, and with presence so loud, you never have to guess if it's there. Real love doesn't shrink in the face of connection, it steps into it. It doesn't leave you waiting hours, days, weeks, wondering what you mean to someone who once looked into your eyes like you were everything. True love shows you in action, in consistency, in effort. It doesn't need decoding. You don't feel the need to read between the lines. Because real love doesn't send mixed signals, it sends messages loud and clear. I'm here and I choose you. There's a difference between someone who's thinking about you and someone who's showing up for you. One creates fantasy, the other builds a foundation. When a man is in love, truly in love, he won't sit in silence hoping you'll do the emotional labor. He won't play it cool at the cost of making you feel anxious or invisible. He will want to reach out, to be involved in your day, to make your life a space where you feel safe, seen, and supported. Too many people mistake avoidance for depth, as if someone's silence somehow makes their feelings more real. But hiding isn't love, it's fear, it's insecurity, it's emotional self-protection masquerading as depth. And love, real love, requires the courage to be seen, to speak, to show affection without needing to be chased or tested or begged for attention. Because in love, silence isn't mystery, it's absence. And no one builds a healthy, meaningful relationship on what's missing. We've all seen it, the brooding man who can't express his feelings, who ghosts when things get real, who flinches at the idea of commitment. And somehow, this behavior is packaged as romantic. Movies, books, even social media have glamorized the emotionally unavailable man as deep, mysterious, tortured. As if emotional dysfunction is a compliment, as if it's your job to unlock his heart with patience, pain, and endless giving. But let's be honest, emotional immaturity is not passion, it's not sexy, it's not devotion in disguise, it's avoidance, and it's time we stop dressing it up as something to chase. There's nothing romantic about someone who doesn't know how to show up for you when you need them most. There's nothing poetic about someone who disappears when you're vulnerable, who shuts down instead of opening up, who says, I'm just not good with feelings, as if that excuse is hurting the people who care. Love is not a guessing game. You should not have to decode every message, wait for their mood to stabilize, or walk on eggshells just to keep the peace. That's not love. That's emotional exhaustion wrapped in a pretty bow labeled, maybe he just loves differently. Why have we been taught to see inconsistency as a challenge instead of a red flag? Why do we glorify the struggle as if earning someone's love through patience, silence, and self-sacrifice is a badge of honor? You're not supposed to be a rehab center for someone's emotional wounds. You're not responsible for their lack of growth, for their inability to communicate, or for their fear of connection. It is not your job to mother a man who refuses to mature emotionally and then call it love when he gives you breadcrumbs of affection after pulling away for days or weeks. A mature love feels steady, not shaky. A man who's emotionally grown won't play with your heart just to protect his ego. He'll communicate when it's hard. He'll take accountability when he messes up. He'll lean in when things get complicated, not disappear to figure things out. Because real love requires courage, and courage looks like consistency, empathy, and emotional availability, not emotional chaos painted as romantic tension. There's a dangerous narrative that silence equals strength, that when someone loves you, they might disappear to process, to protect you, or to not overwhelm you. But let's cut through the fog. Love that ignores you is not love. It's not thoughtfulness. It's not passion in disguise. It's emotional withholding, a passive power move dressed up as distance. And the worst part, too many women are taught to wait through that silence, to shrink themselves while hoping for crumbs of attention, to equate lack of communication with emotional depth. Real love doesn't manipulate you with silence. It doesn't punish you with distance or make you question your worth just because someone can't manage their feelings. Ignoring someone isn't a neutral act, it's calculated. Whether intentional or unconscious, it's a decision to pull away and leave you spinning in confusion, wondering what you did wrong. And when that confusion becomes a pattern, it chips away at your self-esteem piece by piece. It's emotional control, not connection, because when someone ignores you after a conflict or even after a moment of vulnerability, what they're doing is withholding reassurance, clarity, intimacy, all the very things that love is supposed to offer. It becomes a game of emotional starvation. They know your heart craves validation, so they give nothing, watching you work harder, love deeper, apologize for things you didn't do just to feel close again. That's not romantic, that's cruel. Love is not measured by how much you're willing to endure in silence. It's not about how long you can hold on while someone pulls away. If he loves you, he will engage, not retreat. He'll communicate, not punish. He'll create safety, not distance. And if someone constantly disappears when you need closeness the most, what they're offering isn't love, it's emotional breadcrumbs with just enough flavor to keep you hoping, but never enough to feed your soul. There's nothing more exhausting than loving someone who makes you feel invisible when you're standing right in front of them. It's like giving everything you have, your heart laid bare, and being met with silence, distance, or even worse, indifference. You deserve someone who shows up for you with intention, clarity, and an open heart. You don't need to keep second, guessing their feelings, waiting for signs, or reading between the lines to understand if they care. Because if someone loves you, you will know it. It's that simple. When love is real, it doesn't create confusion. It doesn't hide behind excuses or pull away when you need to feel seen. It doesn't leave you wondering whether or not you matter. But too often, women are left standing in the middle of a relationship where there's no clear direction, a place where their feelings are questioned, their worth is doubted, and they're constantly left in limbo. And this limbo is dangerous. It wears you down emotionally, it erodes your confidence, and it chips away at your trust in yourself and the relationship. You deserve someone who meets you at the same level of honesty, who shows up when they say they will, and who communicates openly about their feelings without playing games. You deserve someone who doesn't disappear and reappear on their own terms, someone who doesn't keep you guessing about their true intentions, A relationship where presence is absent and confusion is constant isn't a relationship worth fighting for. It's a maze that only leads you in circles with no clear way out. The emotional strain that comes with trying to decode a partner's behavior, trying to figure out what they really want, why they're pulling away, and why they can't just tell you how they feel isn't just mentally exhausting, it's emotionally suffocating. It leaves you questioning your value, wondering why you have to work so hard for something that should come naturally, understanding and connection. You deserve clarity and love. You deserve someone who doesn't hide, who doesn't create uncertainty just to keep you on your toes. Love isn't about playing mind games or pulling away when things get difficult. Love is about showing up with your whole self, without hesitation or fear. It's about being present for each other all the time, in big ways and small. It's about sharing in the good and the bad, and being there when it matters most. Confusion only clouds your ability to experience a healthy, vibrant connection. You deserve someone who will give you their full presence, someone who values you enough to show up and communicate, not to leave you guessing, not to make you chase. You are not a puzzle to solve. You are someone worthy of respect, attention, and most importantly, a love that is crystal clear. You don't need to question if he cares. You should already know that he does. We live in a world that's obsessed with mystery. The allure of the unknown has been romanticized to the point where we mistake uncertainty for excitement. We're told that the less we know about someone, the more we should be intrigued. We've all heard it. He's mysterious, and that's what makes him exciting. But let's be clear, real connection doesn't feel like a riddle waiting to be solved. It feels like a refuge, a place where your heart and mind are free to be fully present. When you're in a relationship with someone who truly cares about you, you don't feel like you have to constantly decipher their behavior, their words, or their intentions. Real love creates safety. It makes you feel seen, heard, and valued without all the guessing, without the constant wondering about their next move. It doesn't demand that you fill in the blanks or keep chasing after crumbs of validation. You shouldn't have to question whether you're important, if they care, or if they're hiding something. Real connection isn't clouded by doubt, it's grounded in mutual respect and understanding. Think about it, when you're truly connected to someone, there's no mystery in the sense of feeling lost or unsure. You don't feel anxious or fearful about their feelings because their actions back up their words. There's an emotional certainty that comes from their openness, their willingness to share, and their ability to meet you where you are. It's a relationship where your mind isn't constantly working overtime to figure out if they're just playing games or if they really want something long-term. Instead, you are invited into an emotional space where transparency reigns and intimacy builds naturally. A healthy, secure connection doesn't require you to be constantly on edge, trying to predict their next move. It's the opposite. You feel grounded, comfortable, and secure because you trust the person you're with. There's a shared understanding, a foundation of honesty and care, where you don't feel the need to hide pieces of yourself or play emotional games to hold their attention. You are not walking on eggshells. You're walking in a space where both of you can show up as your authentic selves. Mysteriousness, in the way we often romanticize it, is a tool of emotional manipulation. It's the art of keeping someone intrigued by withholding affection, creating distance, or leaving them unsure about where they stand. But here's the truth. Mystery in relationships isn't a sign of depth. It's a sign of emotional unavailability. Someone who truly wants to connect with you will make you feel safe enough to let down your guard, to speak your truth without fear, and to trust that your feelings will be met with care and compassion. There's no need for mystery when both parties are committed to being open, vulnerable, and real. When real connection blooms, there is no anxiety in the air. There's no emotional fog that makes you question what's real and what's not. There's just the comforting certainty that the love you share is genuine, transparent, and most importantly, safe. Safe enough to explore each other's thoughts, dreams, and fears without the pressure of needing to hide anything. In a true connection, mystery fades because both people are free to be who they really are without pretense, without games, without masks. True love isn't about creating drama, keeping each other in suspense, or keeping secrets to maintain interest. It's about creating a space where both of you feel emotionally safe enough to show up with all of who you are, and where the relationship becomes a source of peace, joy, and growth. It's about being able to trust one another with your hearts, knowing that the foundation of your connection is built on honesty, not mystery. In conclusion, true love isn't about games, silence, or emotional distance. It's about presence, transparency, and mutual respect. As we've discussed, love that ignores you isn't love, it's emotional withholding, a passive game that only breeds confusion and insecurity. True love does not hide behind mystery or inconsistency. It shows up, it communicates, and it creates a space where both people feel seen, understood, and valued. We all deserve to be in relationships where our presence is cherished, where confusion is replaced by clarity, and where emotional safety is the foundation. Love is not about constantly chasing answers or deciphering the silence. It's about feeling grounded, heard, and appreciated. A real connection allows you to flourish in your authenticity, free from uncertainty and emotional games. And that's the kind of love we should always strive for, one where both people choose to be present and connected in every moment.